Jayme Kushman, Sena, and Lora Melacon. That is who you see right here in the pictures from left to right. And all three of these women are out of New Mexico, and they all face 50 counts in an extreme child abuse case, where part of the detail is that the kids were chained, allegedly chained to the beds, smothered in vomit, starved, and beaten. The story is coming off of lawandcrime.com. It was posted September 8th, 2022. 3 women in New Mexico have been arrested and charged in connection with an extreme case of alleged child abuse that spans 50 separate criminal charges between the trio. Jayme Kushman, age 37, Sena, age 29, and Lora Melacon, age 41, which, by the way, all of them look older than their actual ages, were recently taken into custody throughout a series of arrests that began late last month and carried on into the present week. According to Curry County jail records reviewed by Law and Crime, Kushman and Sena each currently face 23 charges apiece. In sum, Kushman and Sena each stand accused of 21 counts of child abuse and 1 count of conspiracy to commit child abuse. Kushman is accused of 1 count of obstructing the reporting of child abuse. Sena is also accused of obstructing a child abuse investigation. Melacon, reportedly the last of the 3 to be arrested, stands accused of 3 counts of child abuse and 1 conspiracy charge. According to Albuquerque, New Mexico-based NBC affiliate KOB, Sena and Melacon were both formerly romantically involved with Kushman. This story just gets more weirder and weirder. During each relationship, authorities alleged in court documents obtained by the TV station, the women would be caring for between 2 and 6 children. Some of those children were their own offspring. Others were passing through and in need of shelter. Law enforcement claims that many of the children did not attend school while in the care of the 3 women, but it wasn't simply a matter of overexerted resources or neglect, those documents allege. Kushman is believed to have beaten some of the older children with a paddle that would occasionally leave bruises all over their bodies. She allegedly punched the children in the face as well. Those documents also allege multiple defendants often withheld food from the children. 2 of the children are believed to have been chained to their beds overnight or longer, going days at a time. Other forms of punishment allegedly exacted upon the children by the defendants, including locking them in dog cages in extremely cold weather and forcing them to stand in the corner for days on end. Prosecutors reportedly cited disturbing pieces of multimedia evidence in assessing the charges against the 3. According to investigators, there are home videos with audible screams filtering through. The alleged sounds of the children being beaten. In one video, one investigator allegedly observed a boy's face was being smothered in his own vomit. In another instance, law enforcement claims there are pictures showing 2 children eating spaghetti from inside a filthy bathtub with their bare hands and naked. The alleged cavalcade of abuse had been going on for years at a residence in Texaco, New Mexico. Investigators say, despite the efforts of witnesses to report the situation to child welfare authorities. In those documents obtained by KOB, there are allegations that the defendants were consistently tipped off to various inspections made by the New Mexico Children Youth Families Department. Those presumed tips, witnesses say, likely allowed the women time to cover their tracks. Investigators cited one member of the tiny town's local police force who admitted that they had never seen any such evidence of abuse either. The children at issue are now all reportedly safe. Reading this story played out just like a horror movie, but more so than anything, of course, you know, the main story that comes to mind is Devontae Hart and the Hart family. And it's crazy because if you watch the show Atlanta, the first episode of season 3, which was a few months ago, that was the primary storyline, was piggybacking off of Devontae Hart and his family. Of course, the ending in the show was a whole lot more happier than the actual story itself. And when I hear this story, when it comes to these 3 right here, I immediately think of that. And then, of course, with that story, again, the people doing the abusing was PC women who were romantically involved with each other. It just, with this one, it's 3 PC women who were all romantically involved with each other. Now, they said this was a combination of their own offspring, which means these are kids that 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 of them had, and other kids that they said would pass through there hoping that they would get shelter. All of the kids that were involved, they literally was in a little house of horrors. Like, I can't even pinpoint just in the details alone what was the most trifling part of this entire story. I mean, they said they made one boy eat, or they smothered his face in his own vomit. I'm sure some of it got in his eyes and his nose and his mouth. Some of them were chained to the beds, starved. Some had to be made to stand in a corner. Some had to be out in the cold. And the thing is, it plays just like Devontae Hart and his family, where there were witnesses who saw stuff, and then whenever the wellness people would come out there, they would have enough time to make it seem like nothing was going on. That's one of the biggest flaws when it comes to the child welfare system, is that they don't act nearly as fast enough as they should, because the people that's watching them or supposed to be giving them shelter or care play off this innocent trope that nothing is going on and that everything is fine, even though we clearly know that is definitely not the case. Now, these 3 monsters right here, they deserve the exact same torture times 10 wherever it is that they are going. I hope that the prison systems, the women prison systems in New Mexico, have gotten wind of everything that these women have done and treat them accordingly. Like give them a true welcoming to when they enter into that sanctuary of hell. At this point, that's the best thing that they can do, and nothing less than that. Make them stand out in the cold. Make them have their own vomit rubbed in their face, or have them chained to a bed. I'm all for equal torture for whoever is administering out the torturing upon those who were innocent. Now, they didn't give the age range of these kids, but I can only assume that these were kids that were probably most likely not even teenagers. So my age range for them would have to be between toddler age and 12. I'm just assuming. But I am glad that all the kids are safe. I'm glad that it didn't have a Devontae Hart family ending where they all gathered the kids up into a van and they drove off of a cliff somewhere, or take them, they took them out of fear, because who knows, it could have gotten to that point. It could have very well gotten to that point, but I'm glad that it did not happen. And what's crazy is, I did a video about something similar like this, I think earlier this year, and I believe that these were mainly black kids, and they ended up on Dr. Phil. And thankfully, one of the neighbors was very, heavy and lenient. Well, not lenient, but, heavily involved into saving those kids. And some of y'all who were around during that time know exactly what story I'm talking about. And see, the thing is, they probably looked at all of these women and thought, oh, it's nothing going on over there. I'm looking at them right now, and the suspicions already have been arisen, before I even read one word of the story. Sometimes, like I said, you could just look at someone and they just look guilty. Like I always say that you can look at someone's picture and tell that they're crazy. They look guilty. Those kids are going to need a lot of therapy. Like, they're going to have to sit on someone's couch for a very, very, very long time, because these 3 skanks mentally and physically broke them. And hopefully wherever they go, that they can go into a loving home that will take care of them. I said one of the worst stories you can ever hear is them going from one bad situation to an equally bad one, or even more worse one. But I'm gonna go ahead and end my commentary on this story right here. You let me know what you think down in the comments. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are new, hit the bell to be notified. If for any reason the bell is not working, I upload the videos in a Premiere style format, which means you can click the notify me button in either the bottom left or bottom right corner of the thumbnail, and you should receive the notification that way. The links will be down in the description. I will talk to you in the next one.